I don't know, it's sort of, it gives me like an adrenaline or something. That's like a cool experience to have when watching something.
Blue, blue, blue.
Tell me about
Blue.
the first memory you have of coming to LA.
Oh, wow.
That's probably a very long time ago.
It was a long time ago. You know, I don't quite fully remember the first time. Like, I don't have like a Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA, hopped off the plane at LAX kind of a memory. I'd signed a record deal and I was coming here to record. I would come with my A&R guy. And it was a different time, you know, in LA because, you know, there was no Uber.
Yes.
So you couldn't, like, really get around that much unless you drove. And I didn't drive at the time. So I remember feeling very kind of stuck when I would come here. And I was basically hopping around, doing like session after session after session, trying to figure out like how to translate the music that I was making kind of at home in my bedroom on my own into something a little bit more developed. And I worked with so many different people, and it was kind of that thing of like very sort of like back-to-back sessions, which I think was such a kind of like LA songwriting thing that was happening back then,
right?
And it doesn't really exist so much anymore now, I don't think. You know, I think artists, generally speaking, now they have their kind of like people that they sort of work with on repeat and are really like locked in with. But back then, especially in the pop world, you know, it was so like, do a day with this person, this, you know, it was like really like that. And
back in 07.
That time, I worked with Ariel Rekshide for the first time, and he was the first guy who I felt really kind of like got me and clicked with me. Then I later would keep coming back to LA to sort of work with him more on my first record and kind of like develop that. And he would drive me around in his red Ford. And like, you know, we would do things like go to Pinkberry, which was so exotic to me. You know, never had froyo before and things like that, so that was a real treat.
Never had
and
froyo.
Then also, you know, because I was 16 and I didn't look kind of like a 16-year-old who would like pass for like a 21-year-old and go out, and I didn't really know how to kind of like do makeup or, you know, anything like that. I was like a mess. I was like, you know, it was sort of back in the kind of like run off of the like new rave days, so I was dressing like God knows how I was dressing, you know. For that reason I couldn't really like go.
Wow, I would hit
so
the
we
corner.
would go to a lot of house parties, and that was again a very like foreign thing, because in the UK, especially when I was in school, that kind of culture of like hopping around and like driving around the city like late and like going from house party to house party was not really a thing. But yeah, I think that those are my sort of memories. I remember having In and Out for the first time.
In LA?
What was that?
That was on one of the first trips, and I remember I was staying at this hotel on Sunset Plaza called the Grafton, which is, I don't think it's there anymore. It had really like odd sort of interior choices, lots of pop-tastic art and very kind of over the top, and not much like cohesion within the design choices. And I remember sitting by the pool at midnight and having In and Out, and that was sort of the life.
In my hometown of Harlem?
LA at that time.
Was that the moment that you were like, okay, I can see myself living here?
No, God, no. No. I think it was after, because it felt quite lonely, you know, coming here, especially before I met Ariel and sort of was introduced to a few of his friends and stuff like that. You know, I think at the beginning when I was coming, I felt very lonely in a way. Like I was very much enjoying.
Yeah, I didn't try and hit me.
Make music, but it was still sort of like at the end of the day, like I went home to the Grafton, you know. And so I didn't feel quite like I was like connecting with the people I was working with in like a friendship kind of a way, until I met Ariel, and then that changed. And
Ariel
then
changed
after sort of coming here like a fair few times.
Sorry for jumping on top of your
like,
cars.
Oh, like I feel like I have friends here. Like that's when I began to think, oh, maybe I could move here.
So now, skipping to the present, if you have just a day off to chill and do whatever you want in LA,
What are you doing?
I would probably stay in my house.
Same here.
Yeah, I would just stay in my house, and hopefully George would be there too. Maybe he would cook. He's
It
a
went
great
this
cook.
way, though.
I think we would just like watch movies, and that would be it. Or we'd like meet up with friends and go and watch something.
So the last time you were here was in 2021, and you performed here at the Masonic. What was that like?
I never stood on this floor because I sound checked, you know, and then the dressing room is up there. And I remember hanging out on the balcony as well while somebody was opening. And yeah, it is really intimate, isn't it? And it's sort of funny that it's carpeted. And, you know, now with these chairs in here, it sort of looks more like a church.
See
It's
what's
quite
up
formal.
with it.
Yeah.
It's quite formal, yeah. It was cool doing this show here. I was playing my album How I'm Feeling Now, and it was one of those sort of like early back from the pandemic kind of shows, so I think there was a real energy around that, you know, like people finally being able to kind of get together and be in a space together, you know, all of that stuff that everybody talks about. So that was really cool, and it actually reminded me of I did this show, gosh, it must have been in like 2018, I think, at the El Rey Theatre in LA.
Okay.
And I played
Where did you
my
play?
record Pop 2.
Yeah.
And there was just a real...
Yeah, good
a
atmosphere.
real like energy.
Good
and
feeling.
It was sort of the first time I felt like,
Yeah,
okay, whoa,
that you
I
belong.
have this like fan base who really understand like what I'm doing, you know, and they're all gathered together in this like pretty small room, you know. There was just this real like heat.
I'm
to
really
it.
getting them.
And I think playing here, it was like a similar kind of experience, you know. So yeah, fond memories of this place.
Pop 2 is like so important to the Angels. It's like such a great moment in your career.
Yeah.
And I listen to it all the time still.
I
also
listen to
think
Number
that
One Angel.
This show that you performed here was
I
the
listen to
first
Number
time
One
you
Angel a
ever
lot.
performed Good Ones. Like you closed with that.
Did I?
Yeah, it was your very first time performing it. And I think that's cool. I noticed this connection because obviously the Good Ones video is
I
set.
like it good.
Yeah, there's this whole connection of why I love it. It's like a full circle.
This is the cranberry lemon, and I just drink it up, and I'm good to go.
Did you remember those 3 words? They are conservatory, pineapple,
Yes.
and hedgehog. How'd you do?
Turn that advertisement
Thank
off.
you for this product. It was the reason that I was able to buy my house. When I switched over to really getting into IPS and doing the album sales and things, which it was the reason.
You are very active on Letterboxd. Yeah, which is awesome. You've been asked about this quite a bit, but something that I found particularly funny is that your reviews are amazing.
Oh.
You watched Matilda,
Yes.
and your one review was George.
Trying
loved
me with a
this movie.
grenade
He
launcher.
loves it. That's one of his favourite films. I mean, it's
When she
so,
made the
it's such a
pancakes.
classic. It's
Yes.
so great, you know, like what a brilliant like Roald Dahl story.
is that?
You know, it's really like joyous.
And you recently watched the drama. How did you
Yeah,
feel about
I watched that the other night. Okay, so Haley Benton Gates, who's in the film,
Yeah.
she was in.
Oh, I
our
did it
film
that
moment.
fast, that
I think
quickly?
she is so amazing, like as an actor, as a person. She's a great director, and I think she really like shines in that film. I mean, obviously, like Alana Haim's great, like Zendaya. And
Don't
Rob,
go into
everyone.
the
I
green
think
light.
The performances were
Run
kind of
from
like
it.
off the charts in that movie.
Yes.
And I love that final wedding speech. Oh my god.
Help me pronounce it. Is it Eruptia?
You know what? I'm still getting it wrong. You're close. Erupsia.
Okay. What was that experience like for you? It's an incredible movie.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that you went to Poland, obviously.
Yeah. You know, it was really cool actually, like to shoot that film because
I
it
was about to
different
see
and
what's up
it was
with
a
the
different
cops right
process
there.
than anything I've ever worked
But
on
we'll do
before.
something else. You see how fast they
In that,
disappeared
you
when
know,
I turned around?
We went to Warsaw. Pete O's the director. He had like a sort of vague premise in mind, but I wouldn't even call it like an outline. And the kind of way he likes to work is everybody gets together. There's a very small cast, very small crew. Pete was kind of doing sort of like most jobs in terms of like lighting, like sound, DP, like, you know. But we would all get together and we would kind of just talk about the scenes that we wanted to do that day, and we would sit and like write together. And then, yeah, it was. And actually, you know what, I'll say it sort of felt like writing a song in a way. You know, you get together, you do it, and you record it right in the moment. And I think, you know, obviously with film, for the most part, everything is sort of like, the script is kind of like painstakingly like written and tweaked and perfected, and then you shoot it, you know. And that was just not the experience that we had on Eruption. And so it was a very rewarding,
we both said at the same
experience.
time.
I would definitely make a film like that again, and I would encourage, I don't know, like anybody who's interested in making films to kind of work in that way, like with your friends, like running it in the moment, small ideas, like it was really cool.
Your performance in that was like consistently praised across the board. And I know the moment had mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Do reviews affect you at all? Do you read them? Is it
Well,
a big deal to
no,
you?
but they do.
You know, I used to read reviews, less so now. I think, look, I'd be lying if I said, you know, that when somebody says, "Oh, this was terrible," it doesn't affect me. Like, that would be a lie.
It does.
You know? But I think I'm also like at peace with the fact that there are some
people who will,
that certain people really connect to and adore and love and understand and sort of see a certain emotional depth in, that other people just don't relate to at all. No one likes everything, you know. It's like you have tastes that you gravitate to.
Yeah, you tell them, Charlie.
I think like the more I, you know, create work and put it out into the world, I'm just like,
Boyfriend.
That's kind of actually the cool thing about making things. Like sometimes
I always say that afterwards.
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend. What's up, dog?
People, and that's great, you know. And other times, lots of people get it, and sometimes people are really adverse.
Everyone's a sourpuss.
I think that's all kind of just part of being an artist, you know. And I think for me personally, like, I think I'd rather my work
y'all know where he went.
sort of generate a sort of
Upper East Side is bougie.
No,
y'all get it.
Somebody
don't know how to give a handshake and acknowledge. Don't show no proper respect.
Reaction of just like, I'm just not even thinking about that. And I'm sure I've made work where for some people it is that, and that's cool as well.
I think the worst thing is to be boring, and I think having any reaction is incredible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fun thing about engaging in art. Like, it can all make you feel a different type of way. That's like the power of it, I suppose.
You have a lot of film projects coming out. Who would you say is like your dream collaborator?
There's like so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to work with Trier. I'd love to work with Cronenberg, Sofia Coppola.
Come on, y'all ain't have to really do that.
Like, there's so many people.
I imagine it's very different when you've been doing music this long and then you get into a different kind of field that you're not experienced with. How has it been learning how to act, and how do you feel about it?
Y'all.
It seems like you're very comfortable with it.
I feel like for me, I'm just like desperate to kind of learn and experience like a wide variety of different things on set, and that's why I feel really lucky to have experienced quite like different versions of like making a film, whether that be the moment with Aidan, or whether that be going to Japan and working with Takashi Miike, or Furusio. You know, everything's been so kind of different, and like watching directors work and like learning from them, and just seeing how different people decide to do things, like communicate with the people that they're working with. Like, it's just like so interesting to me, and seeing how other actors work. It's like, I feel like I just want to soak everything up like a sponge, and whatever the output of that is, like, I don't even really know. I'm at peace with it. I want to like enjoy it all and like learn as much as I can. I think that's kind of how I approach things.
This is a big question whenever anyone asks me, I still know, but maybe like top 3 favorite films. What would you say?
I think I would say...
Hold on, I need another crime. I need another one.
Cronenberg's Maps to the Stars. It's one of my favorite. I just love Julianne Moore. Oh my gosh. She's just like incredible.
In anything, yeah.
In literally anything. I really like a lot of Jean Rollins movies. I don't know if it's like a top fave, but it's coming to mind just because we're in a cemetery right now. He has this movie called The Iron Rose, which is about a couple who kind of go on a date to a cemetery, and then they kind of get like lost within the cemetery. And it's really beautiful. A lot of his movies are just like really stunningly beautiful. He has this movie Lips of Blood that's gorgeous.
Blood.
Fascination is really cool. So I don't know, like he'd be in there.
Blood.
I love a lot of Altman stuff. The Player, again, being in LA, like it's cool to mention that. People have heard me like talk to the ends of the earth about Celine and Julie Go Boating, so I'll just put that in there, but I think it would be so boring to hear me like talk about that again, because I'm just like talking about that all the time, and it's changing all the time. Like every time I like watch something new, it gets replaced. Like I watched I'd never seen Bringing Out the Dead, the Scorsese film with Nick Cage. I watched that the other night. I was like, classic. You know, it's just like, it's how can you pick? There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
I think it's a great list.
Steel City Collectibles has one of the area's largest selections of English and Japanese Pokemon cards. From the newest releases to
English and Japanese Pokemon cards.
You are just coming off the release of your single Rock Music. How did that go? The video, also with Aiden, is incredible. I loved it.
Thank you.
What was that release like for you?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we had such a good time making the song and also making the video. And I mean, the video, it was like, the song is so short and we shot so much over 2 days, so we were kind of like, God, how are we going to get this into a song that's under 2 minutes? It was sort of like a blessing and a curse in a way. On the set of the video.
Yeah, you threw it out.
That was weak.
I like threw the fuck out.
Whoa.
And it was halfway through the second day, and we still had to do this shot where we were driving over the bridge in like a convertible.
I wanted to throw it at him.
I was wearing the kind of like McQueen reference, like the Zana Bain designed neck piece. And so I was being like a little method there, I guess, because I like really couldn't actually move that much because my back was tweaking so much.
Good.
So sorry. I mean, it's fine. It was just, that was like a sort of funny, like additional part of the video shoot. And what's funny, when I was being thrown in the air by all of the guys on set, I was like, God, this is actually like weirdly relaxing.
I'm gonna go to Queens.
And then like
I'm
an
gonna go to
hour
Harlem.
later, it was like, you know.
It's a little meta because you threw your back out and you're also singing.
But no, I mean, it was cool, and I mean, we were just sort of talking about it over there, like the kind of response to the song and the video. It was really sort of fun to me because obviously there was such a kind of diverse range of people who either like really liked it and got it and was sort of engaging with it on like a kind of emotionally deep level, and then there were people who were like, this is the worst thing ever, and then there were people who were kind of had a lot of sort of additional thoughts and stuff about
feedback
it that generated a bunch of think pieces, and then there were people who were just like, let me make a TikTok to this, you know. And so I kind of welcome like all of that, like again, it's like, it's how I sometimes like to engage with art. You know, my favorite thing to do is talk with my friends about things that we've discovered, you know, and have like back and forth about like who were kind of had a lot of sort of additional kind of emotionally deep level, and then there were people who were like, this is the worst thing ever, and then there were people who were kind of had a lot of sort of additional thoughts and stuff about it that generated a bunch of think pieces. And then there were people who were just like, let me make a TikTok to this, you know. And so I kind of welcome like all of that. Like, again, it's like, it's how I sometimes like to engage with art. You know, my favorite thing to do is talk with my friends about things that we've discovered, you know, and have like back and forth about like why we're really passionate about one thing or not so passionate about another. You know, it's just kind of like natural for that to happen, I think, when you're like enjoying or discovering new things. I kind of like welcome it. It's like, I never make
kind of like
things with the desire to be like universally loved. That's sort of like an impossible task.
Don't
anyways.
even try to do it.
But it's not something that I particularly have ever been like driven by. Yeah, obviously if that happened, great, but like I don't think I've ever made anything that's been like universally loved or whatever. I don't know, like, so yeah, I think it's just sort of,
I don't know where it went,
releasing things, and I kind of enjoy it.
You posted like a teaser of the song before it came out, and I was laughing that Courtney Love commented on it, and she was like, stop trolling us, just pick up a guitar already.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I think like people really think I'm this big troll, and I don't really feel the need to sort of explain my intentions behind anything I do, but I'll just say, like, I find that things can be like earnest and funny at the same time, and they don't have to sort of like exclusively like live separately, you know. Things can be like joyful, and you can find things funny, and you can find things sincere all at once. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of my work. And if people interpret that as trolling, then that's fine. But, you know, the teaser is like the music from the track. So it's just without like the vocals and the chop, you know, it's like in the song.
You've obviously used guitars in your music before, so I don't think this is a rock album. I know that the internet had a lot of conversations about that. I love that you've always explored different sounds with each record. Was there any kind of influence of rock bands, though, in this album?
To be honest, like, when I make music, I'm less.
I tried to hit Big Dude from across the thing, but that symbiote grabbed me before I could kick him. But I jumped across the hood, I slid across the hood, and I almost kicked him.
I actually kind of like shut myself off.
Hold on, let me try to do it now.
Music when I'm making stuff, you know? And we kind of just escape into our own world. Of course, there's a lot of like music or rock adjacent music that I love, and obviously working with AG and Finn, you know, they have their band Thy Slaughter. Like, I think there's some people who are like, oh, is the record going to sound like that? It doesn't really sound like that either, you know. It's like And you know, obviously, like, I've spoken at length about loving like Lou Reed and John Cale and the Velvet Underground, and I love bands like Gang of Four, and it's like, would I say that the record sounds like any of that? No, like, I don't really think about genre in this like binary way. Yeah. And I don't think people really have thought about genre in a binary way for like a very long time.
It's a good thing,
I mean, you know, it's cool because I think things are so cross-pollinated now just because of the internet and how much like access people have to be able to like make music at home, which I think is really cool. Rock album, not rock album. I don't think I've made a rock album. I think I've just made an album that has guitars and none of this bothers me. It's I think confusion in art is sort of fun, and I don't know. It's like everyone is going to come up with their own interpretations of analysis what artists do. That's like the cool thing about being a fan. Like, you get to do that.
Can you walk me through how this album came about in general? Because from our discussions, it appears that you weren't really even planning on making new music right away. You had written about it on your Substack too, like, maybe I'm just going to take a break from that. So
I was really ready to peace out and like take a break and not make music. I felt very creatively drained, and not inspired to write anything new. And then, I don't know, it's like, then just suddenly it was like inspiration like came, and that sounds so like cheesy or whatever, I don't know, but it's like, I sort of believe that if you are kind of like lucky enough to get a wave of inspiration, you kind of have to like chase it.
Honor it.
You can't, or at least this is just how I feel, like I can't put it aside and be like, oh, I'll come back to that like later in a month or a year or whatever, because it might not be there. And I am
you gotta
always
honor it now.
reacting to
honor the creative
how
process.
The world around me is changing as an artist, and that is how I like write my songs. You know, yes,
let's get it.
In ways they're about me, but the way that I am changes depending on how the world is, and the world is changing constantly, so fast. And in that moment, I felt that I had things to say, and so I wanted to get those things out of myself. You know, I don't know. It's like, not to get all whatever, but
back up.
I feel like when you're your like inner self or whatever is telling you to say something, it's like you have to follow that. You have to feel that out and say it. And it's like when you have a thought, you don't know where that thought came from unless it was like a premeditated thing. You just have a thought, you think about something, and that's in your brain, and then sometimes you say it out loud or sometimes you don't. And I feel that that is the same with songwriting and with
pipe down.
Inspiration in general. It's like sometimes something just like comes to you and you're like, oh my god, I have this idea, I should get it out. So that's kind of why it happened. I really wasn't expecting it, but yeah.
Did you feel any kind of pressure to follow up rap at all?
No, because that's just something that from the second I made that album, I knew I would like never do. You know, like I think whenever I make a record, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's that done. And my albums do interact with each other in that they sort of, in ways, like repel against each other. And that's the kind of like connective tissue. I mean, I think for me as an artist, it would be extremely like uninspiring to attempt to recreate what Brat was, because
it would be what?
Uninspiring to recreate what Brat was.
No, yeah, let this be new.
Because, you know, you sort of adapt and change and you react to the way your previous work is interpreted. You know, and that's not to say I don't love that album. I really love that record. I always will. I have so much fun performing it live. Like, when I occasionally listen back to it, I'm like, oh my god, I love this.
Back up, yeah.
Production element, like I love that record.
Sauce for what?
I was going to ask you if you ever listen to it.
Yeah, I do. I listen.
No, it ain't my sauce. It's frozen, right?
My records back, which probably makes me a sort of evil narcissist. I don't know, but I listen a lot to True Romance. I listen a lot to.
Let me rewind it back.
Because, you know, you sort of adapt and change and you react to the way your previous work is interpreted.
Why are y'all walking towards it?
And that's not to say I don't love that album. I really love that record. I always will. I have so much fun performing it live. Like, when I occasionally listen back to it, I'm like, oh my god, I love this. And change, and you react to the way your previous work is interpreted. You know, and that's not to say I don't love that album. I really love that record. I always will. I have so much fun performing it live. Like, when I occasionally listen back to it, I'm like, oh my god, I love this lyric or this production element. Like, I love that record. But
I was going to ask you if you ever listened to it.
Yeah, I do. I listen to a lot of my records back, which probably makes me a sort of evil narcissist, I don't know, but I listen a lot to True Romance, I listen a lot to Pop 2, occasionally to How I'm Feeling Now, And not so much at the minute because it was so, you know, it's so recent to me, but like a brat occasionally, but not that much at the minute. But like maybe in the future I'll listen more.
Looking back at your career now, do you find that it's very like pre-brat and post-brat?
Let's
I mean, yeah,
do it.
Of course. Like I think.
Let's get it.
I think.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. It's like there are some people who really do know me from that record and discovered me at that point in my sort of journey as an artist, and that's all they really know of me, and that's totally cool. But obviously there are like a bunch of people who know me from way before and know a lot of different elements, and I think there's like a division in the fan base of like the angels versus the brats.
Yes.
And you know, I mean, I think I can't control any of that sort of noise. So. But for me, I suppose I think it's interesting as an artist to, you know, when one thing you do becomes particularly known, like it's like it is, there's like a conflict there in a way. And I think I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't. It's like you don't, you know, before Brat I was like the girl who sang boom clap to people who didn't really like know me, and now to people who know me from just Brat, I'm like the Brat girl who like smokes and wears sunglasses. Not really trying to change that, I guess. I don't know, like, you know, likes the colour green, even though I didn't really wear green once during that whole album. Really didn't think. It's funny the way that like success can also sort of cage you.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've experienced.
Thank y'all for joining.
You know, such a wide like range of like success and failure. You know, I think for me and for the people who knew me before Brat, it's like.
Whoa, what's
they
going
know
on
the ebbs
here?
and flows of like my process. You know, I understand the ebbs and flows of pop music and pop culture, so I feel relatively free in creating, you know, whatever I'll do next.
Really
I can't wait for this album to come out. I love it so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for spending your day with me here.
Yeah, we're probably possessed now.
A little bit, probably.
That's it, y'all. That's all, folks. This is James Gregory stand-up.
Almost every week of my life, I pull out of my driveway, headed out on some trip. Not once has any member of my family fallen to the front door going, "Be careful now, there's birds out there."
Knock, knock. What's inside every nugget box? Come on, we'll show you. It's simple. It's just two things. The first thing is a comfy, squishy foam couch. And
That thing ain't getting far away.
the world of possibilities that comes with it. You see, when your couch can be anything, your imagination can go anywhere.